Aloha, how's it? Today we are talking all about why you should stop trying to build your LinkedIn network. Yes, really, we really are. More on that in a minute. So, what happened for you over the weekend? For us, we actually sold our camper van, I know, to an eager buyer. So, we've got some mixed emotions around it, but that doesn't mean we are going to stop on our at We Be Vanning adventures on Instagram on the island. Right now, we're going to We Be Vanning in a Subaru, but it's all about, I feel like, the van life mindset. So, you don't need a tricked out camper van to go vanning. That's our philosophy. Anyhow, now it is time for Mondays with Mindy. This is a weekly show at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, where I talk about all things LinkedIn pipeline, promo, and profiles, what I call the 3 Ps of LinkedIn. So, do you have questions about LinkedIn that you want me to answer? Be sure to like this post, whether you're watching live or from the replay, and you can leave your questions below, and I'll answer them after the show or on a future episode of Mondays with Mindy. But let's get to today's topic. Why should you stop trying to build your LinkedIn network? And what can you do instead? So it's all too easy to focus on what I would call growth. So, like growth for the sake of growth. We want more leads. We want a bigger business. We want an increase in revenue. As business leaders, it's never enough to settle for what we currently have. And we know this. We know this about ourselves. It's like, well, if we have X amount in revenue, 10 times that would be even better. And so it's easy to get caught up in the numbers. And as social media experts like to tell us, it's really important to get active on every channel and just grow, grow, grow your following, which will automatically, I think that's a word, lead to business growth. The problem happens when we start focusing on those numbers and not the people that those numbers represent. I'm going to say that again. The problem happens when we start focusing on the numbers themselves and not on the people those numbers represent. So, having a bigger network on LinkedIn will not necessarily help your business grow. And many of the LinkedIn experts don't want to tell you that because it goes against the industry norm and it's really counterintuitive. It's easy to sell a service that says, I'm going to grow your following by X% in 30 days. But many of us, actually, when we hear that pitch, we start scratching our heads and think, for some reason, that sales pitch doesn't sit well with me. And why is that? And you're right, it shouldn't sit well with you. It's easy to grow a following with like anyone and everyone and just try to get those numbers up. But are these people going to turn into good buyers for you? And I think that's the question we really need to think about. What can happen if you focus on building your network in the wrong way? Like, what have I seen happen a lot of times? So, here's what could happen. You could end up with a huge network that doesn't pay attention to your content, they don't care about what you offer. You could also have a lot of people that are engaging with your content, but you're wondering why they aren't buying from you. So you have this big network. Why is nobody buying? Maybe you'll end up purging your LinkedIn network because you're pretty sick and tired of all the irrelevant people in your network. And then you feel like you're starting from nearly ground zero. So, what was the point of this whole LinkedIn thing? And you have that sunk costs feeling, and it's just not a great feeling, right? But not to worry, because we're going to discuss a few important mindset shifts that are going to have a major impact on how you view your network and what it means to get strategic. Building your network with the right mindset ensures you show up to LinkedIn ready to do good business with good people, because that's really what it's all about here on LinkedIn. Okay, so aloha. For those who don't know me, my name is Mindy Rosser. I'm the founder of Mindy Rosser Marketing, and I have a signature pipeline building program for B2B business leaders and professionals who want to use LinkedIn for business. I help leaders and experts like you rapidly fill your pipeline and scale your influence on LinkedIn so you can grow your business and your impact. And in this live, we are going to talk about why growing your network for the sake of numbers results in wasting your time and energy on people who will not convert to opportunities, and how you can tweak your network growth efforts to actually improve the bottom line. Are you ready? I am so ready. Let's do this. So go ahead and like this post, whether you're watching live or from the replay, to give it some social love so more people can see this piece of content and hopefully it will help them as well. So, one mistake that too many of us make is paying attention to the common advice that all we need to do is just get more people at the top of the funnel and you'll automatically increase sales. We hear this time and again from a lot of sales and marketing experts. They're like, just put more people in the funnel and they'll just funnel down. But if you're putting the wrong people at the top of your funnel, that does you absolutely no good and it actually hurts the flow of the funnel. If you think about a funnel, if you're throwing rocks and sand and boulders in there, what's going to actually trickle through? Not very much, just the sand, right? So it's really important that you pay attention to what you're throwing in your funnel. If you're throwing junk in your funnel, it's going to clog it. So when applied to a social following like LinkedIn, we start focusing on that one metric, that growth. Okay, we just have to have more people. And we're not paying attention to the other metrics that matter more when it comes to business growth. So LinkedIn follower growth, LinkedIn network growth does not necessarily equal business growth. And yes, you do need enough of the right people to be able to sustain your business. But what's the point of having people in your network who will never buy from you? No matter how clever your content is, whether you're gaming the LinkedIn algorithm or even really gutsy and leveraging a third party app to start viewing profiles to grow your LinkedIn on autopilot. And that's a very bad idea, by the way. So let me tell you a story of one of my LinkedIn for Business students who decided that enough was enough for him when it came to his LinkedIn network. He's a very seasoned professional. He has a very large network of great people, but he realized not all of them wanted to do business with him. And he also got sick and tired of seeing their posts in his feed and thought they were irrelevant. So what did he do about it? He didn't just sit there and say, LinkedIn, their algorithm is terrible. LinkedIn doesn't read our minds. So you have to tell LinkedIn what you want it to do. So by cleaning up his network, this is what he did. When we talked about the importance of auditing his current LinkedIn connections, he was all in. Once he got started, there was no stopping him until he had removed 1,600 plus, yes, 1,600 plus connections manually in the span of a few weeks. Amazing. And I commend him because I don't think I've ever unfollowed that many people at once. And could you believe it? Right after he finished that purge of his network, he realized that his network was now brimming with people talking about things he was interested in, people whom he thought were no longer around because he hadn't been seeing their posts in his newsfeed. Now he was seeing them. And it was all filled with people who wanted to do good business with him, who he wanted to collaborate with, people he wanted to keep up with. And his newsfeed was like impeccable. And he found a lot of value in his newsfeed as a result. So just like that, he had a strategic network and he could now begin focusing on growing it the right way instead of just saying yes to everyone who sent him a connection invitation. So with a clean slate, he could engage in ways that felt natural to him and actually leverage and stay on top of what his network was talking about. So for him, it wasn't about bigger. Bigger is not better. It was about having a better network that was more aligned with his business goals, collaboration, genuine connection with his network. So, LinkedIn is the place where professionals like you and me come to network with each other. We want to explore doing good business with other good people. We want to focus on creating a better workplace and environment for ourselves and others. So, this is how I approach LinkedIn. This is how I teach and coach my program members to see the platform. This is LinkedIn, and it is special. Okay, so if we're not trying to build our network as fast as possible, what should we be doing instead? It's like, Mindy, are you telling us to just get rid of everybody inside our network? That doesn't make sense either. So, do numbers not matter? Is there something else that is actually more important to pay attention to? Numbers do matter, but it's really about being selective when building your network. So sometimes you need to purge it to get to that clean slate if you've clogged it with people who are no longer relevant. So if you have to get the clean slate, go ahead, do the purge. It may be heart-wrenching in the moment, but you'll be glad you did later on. Sometimes it's a strategic focus on adding to your network each and every week with a blend of number one would be organic, what I call organic serendipity. So this is like you see someone interesting on LinkedIn in a comment stream or someone introduces you. And then you also want to have a blend and a focus on who your target audience is right now. So those people you can inspire, help, be a resource to, and connect with professionally. So it's kind of this blend of organic. You're paying attention. You're looking for ways to engage and meet new people on LinkedIn. And then number two is reaching out to people who are inside of your target audience to get connected. So let's talk about how I approach LinkedIn and what has worked really well for many of my one on one clients and students. Activities that actually lead to business growth and not just a bigger network. So are you curious? All right, I'm going to show you four things here. And these are some things that if you take to heart and you start implementing them, they're going to have a major impact on first how you see LinkedIn, how you engage on the platform, and then second, the results that you're going to get from being on LinkedIn. So it does not feel like a waste of time. All right, so number one is show up every day on LinkedIn ready to connect. So every single weekday, you're logging into LinkedIn. This is a mindset. We've talked about mindset myths in the past. So this is a mindset that you're here to do good business. You're looking for opportunities to give, you're looking to share your expertise and your experiences. So you are always showing up and you're consistent with your engagement. This activity in itself opens dozens of doors each month in that organic sense that we talked about for you to explore and to get connected to people. So pay attention. Like, how are you showing up on LinkedIn? Are you just trying to share your post, share your content, check things really fast, and then leave the platform? Because if you are going to leave a lot of opportunities on the table and you're probably not going to enjoy LinkedIn either. So, a lot of people that just kind of like, okay, I just need to cross post here. And once I'm done, I can just leave the platform and go, to Facebook, to Instagram and finish cross posting. You need to slow it down a little bit. LinkedIn is a lot more focused on networking and engaging. People expect a little bit more of that two-way interaction. It's not just a place to broadcast content. You're looking for two-way dialogue. All right, so that's number one. Number two, you need to get crystal clear on your target audience. So you need to know, who do you want inside your network? And I know this sounds really basic to some of us, but a lot of times we just are like, "Oh, okay, they look interesting. I'll accept a connection from them." Or maybe you're like, "Oh, I found this list of people in this group and I'll just reach out to all of them. That sounds like a good idea." And they'll probably say yes because we're in the same group. Is that being crystal clear on your target audience? Maybe, maybe not. So the key here is really think about the people that you want to do business with, people that you can help, people that you can serve, people that you can collaborate with. How can you be of service and share your expertise? Share what you've learned over time, share your experiences. So being crystal clear on your target audience is going to help you when you are building your network. And you need to know who they are. And you don't want to have a bunch of them. Like, some people are like, well, I want to reach out to CEOs at SaaS organizations. I also want to reach out to marketing agency owners and maybe also some entrepreneurs. I mean, that is not crystal clear. You need to pick one, stick with that one, the main target audience for your profile, for your LinkedIn efforts, and then move on to others if you want to expand, but be crystal clear, super focused. Okay. Number three would be dialing in your LinkedIn profile for business, not for just looking good. Like, some people are like, "Oh, I just want to have a great looking LinkedIn profile." And I think that's fantastic. I'm happy for you. And it is nice to have a beautiful looking LinkedIn profile. But if it is not optimized with the right keywords, if it's not focused on the right target audience, so it ties into number two, being focused on that target audience. If it is not doing all of those things, it's not going to drive business or drive opportunities for you. And this applies to people who are careerists too, who may not be looking for another job at this point, but they do want to be seen as a thought leader. They do want to build their personal brand. Your LinkedIn profile is the key here. Even if you are within an organization, your LinkedIn profile is yours, and you can use it to showcase your expertise. And it opens doors to connect with new opportunities. So make sure it's dialed in. I've done some trainings on this as well, but it is critical to dial in your profile and make sure it is optimized for your target audience and that it also feels good to you. Because if it doesn't feel good to you, that's not a good thing either. So it needs to feel like an extended part of you. It's almost like, when you think about your profile, it's almost like your website. It's almost like your professional website. And for a lot of people, their LinkedIn profile shows up in Google search results above their website just because of the way the algorithm works, and it really likes LinkedIn. So make sure it looks good. All right, and number four, the final one, understand exactly how to reach out on LinkedIn. This one can be tricky. If you have not done a lot of outreach on LinkedIn, or maybe you have and you felt like it just felt salesy or spammy, or you found a template somewhere, said send this in a connection invitation, and it just didn't feel right, Okay, you haven't figured out how to reach out on LinkedIn. When you send connection invitations in the right way, it feels good to you and it feels good to the person on the other end. You aren't just outsourcing this and not thinking about it and just saying, well, here's a script, send it to my VA, and yeah, we'll see what happens. No, you own your LinkedIn profile. Your profile is you, and people expect when they are getting a connection request from you that they're getting it from you. So make sure that that script and whatever verbiage you're using, whatever text you're using, speaks to them and also feels good to you. So understanding there are a lot of different ways to reach out on LinkedIn. There are in-mails, there are connection invitations, there are people that you can open message, you can message through a group. So there are a lot of different ways to reach out, and you really need to match the way that you reach out, the words that you say, and how you're reaching out to your target audience. So it does take a little bit of trial and error to get it just right. But once you have this dialed in, this is where the magic really starts to happen because now you know how to connect with your people. And you will notice that there's like this snowball effect with your network where it just kind of starts growing. And you're like, I know exactly how to get on my target audience's radar. I know how to get them talking. I know how to get into that two-way dialogue. And that's where it feels like, okay, LinkedIn is working for me. But to get to that point, there's a little bit of like thrashing and figuring it out and doing some experimentation. So getting some help on that, whether it's from a colleague, from a friend, somebody that has a little bit of experience in reaching out on LinkedIn could be helpful. Okay, so let's recap. So number one, we are showing up every day on LinkedIn, ready to connect. We are crystal clear on our target audience. And then three, we are dialing in our LinkedIn profile for business. And then number four, we understand exactly how to reach out on LinkedIn. So you put all of these together and you are going to build an excellent strategic network. Remember, if you're new to using LinkedIn or trying to rethink your approach, it all starts with learning the basics. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist brain to learn the basics. It just takes a little bit of patience and knowledge and experimentation to try something new. And I recommend focusing on your mindset first. Show up to LinkedIn each weekday, start paying attention to your feed, watch people, see how people interact with each other, observe, and you'll know when you're ready to take that next step. Okay? So, to build on what we discussed today, I'm really excited because I'm going to be launching a program called the LinkedIn Accelerator. And this is going to be very exclusive. It's a small group program. I'm only taking a limited number of people. This is going to be for those who want to optimize their LinkedIn profile and start building a strategic network. So, really taking what we talked about today and okay, Mindy, that's great, but how do I actually do all of that in a way that doesn't take up all my time? So it's coming from the place of popular demand. A lot of you have been asking and reaching out saying, can you please put together something that is like simple and like a getting started program or rebooting my LinkedIn profile plan so I can use LinkedIn in the best way possible for me. So if you want to be the first to know, check out the link. I put it down below. I'll also hyperlink it in the comments after the show. Okay. So that's it for today. I hope you got a lot of value out of today's session and aren't just going to focus on the numbers in your LinkedIn network. You're going to focus on the people in your network. So I will see you next week on Mondays with Mindy. We're going to talk about getting started on LinkedIn made simple. So some simple ways if you are just trying to, get your bearings and start on LinkedIn and like, okay, I know I need to do some stuff here. What should I do first? It's going to be a little different than our norm and it should be a lot of fun. So feel free to leave any questions or comments below. And my inbox is always open if you want to message me directly. I will see you next week. Bye for now.